Century lining up for Chris So. He's only a lightly tried 4-year-old having his fifth start, but looks like he acquitted himself reasonably well last start.
For sure, he seems like he's getting better each run. He obviously ran a Shatin first start, and then obviously Chris decided to bring him to the Valley, and he's run well. I thought his last run was good. He looks like he's ready to step up in trip to 14, which is on tomorrow, and I think more of a galloping track like Shatin might suit him better too.
So that run last start, it was your advice or Chris's opinion that the 1400 would, on that run last start, be ideal for him this time?
Yeah, well, a bit of both. I obviously suggested that I thought he was a horse that was ready to step up in trip, and he's had enough experience around here now to go back to Shatin. And I like the horse. He's a 4-year-old, but he's very lightly raced, and he's got a nice draw, and he's pretty straightforward. So hopefully we can get a good pitch. He doesn't do anything quick, but stepping up to 14, like I said, will really suit him.
It looks like he should get similar sort of run to what he got here at Happy Valley last start.
Yeah, last time we got a really good trip. We got a nice position just in behind the pace. Just faster horses later on over 1200 just sort of out sprinted him a little bit. They just sort of plodded on. So like I said, hopefully Saturday with a good draw, up in trip, and a nice track by Hkjc should suit him better.
You're riding Gorgeous Win in the last. It's a pretty hot-looking Class 2 race over the 1200 metres. You were on him a couple of runs ago. What are your thoughts going into Saturday with the Danny Shum running?
Well, he's got a good gait in too. He's a horse that he's not had the best draws lately, but he sort of goes back anyway. But the draw helps. Like you said, it's a very hot race. But at this level, he should be very competitive.
He has been running well without sort of threatening the top 2 or 3. So you think he can measure up again and put him one of those sort of runs?
Of course you can, yeah. Like I said, I think you can make the case of 5 or 6 of most of the horses in this race. Like I said, it's a very hot race, but he's got a nice draw in the Class 2. He's run well in group races, not beaten far. So back down to this level, he's actually I galloped him the other morning and I trialled him too. So he seems a good order. So fingers crossed we can get a good trip around and he'll run big.
Mark, one more. He didn't have a great deal of luck up the straight, but it must have been satisfying to see when he did get clear, he found the line strongly.
Yeah, look, he just got strung up, and that's the nature of straight racing. When he needed to get a bit of momentum, he didn't, but he ran through the line well.
Stepping up to 1200 metres from the 1000 metres, was it just that ideal preparation going to 1200 the way he finished off last start?
Yeah, and look, he's a horse that can be a bit aggressive, and he was in his trial. So I just wanted to give him a run first before we stepped him up in trip. But look, he's been good in his work, and he's drawn a bit awkwardly, but he's got good natural pace, so he'll put himself somewhere in a forward position.
You mentioned that trial on the all-weather at Shatin over the 1200, so he likes to roll along?
Yeah, look, he's a naturally quick horse, so you don't want to get in his way too much. He was still a little bit fresh going into that trial, and I just wanted that to just take the edge off him going into the race. You mentioned the draw. It's a little tricky, gate 9. How do you see it panning out potentially? Oh, look, I'll leave that in Zach's hands. But look, he'll settle in the first 4, I would imagine. Wearing that first 4, we'll leave it up to Zach.
Thanks. Forever folks lining up on the all-weather for Michael Chang. Typical sort of run from him last time out, get back, run on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And to the horse, his credit, and more so, Michael Chang and his team, he's such a model of consistency. Really found what makes him tick and what he enjoys in his racing. So, more often that's the all-weather track. He's very consistent, and as like a lot of his competitors, it's probably just a lot of the races are all half the result feels like it's dealt on paper, before we even get on horseback. So coming up with barrier 1's fantastic. I will say he does prefer, like most horses, the standard harrowed track. So I'm hoping the rain isn't around and we're on a sealed track. But I think, off his form, you'd be confident he'll race well again.
I was going to ask about the draw with him because he's come up with gate number 1, but he does quite often draw out as well. With a horse like him and his racing style, where would you ideally prefer to draw with him?
Definitely inside. It's just funny because you think he's a horse that, even when he's won, there's been times he's been under pressure or needing encouragement 1,000 metres from home, and he, then regathers to win the race. Where I find he's a horse that does, or history says, he's travelled better inside horses, funnily enough. So I'm very happy with being on the rail, just so he can be a bit more complacent if, covering ground. So on the rail would be great as long as we're, whatever we're following can present us room. But other than that, like his track work, there's been no change in him. He's just a consistent, happy horse. So it'd be a well-deserved victory if he can break through again.